lived in New York for a while. I love it, but it's definitely made me paranoid. Whenever I visit another city, I always act like I'm from there, so the cab driver doesn't rip me off. I'm always like, yeah, it's good to be back home. Back here where I grew up. Yeah, here in Tokyo. Everything looks familiar because I grew up here. Where do I need to go, driver? I need to go to my old stomping grounds. That would be the Holiday Inn. And the address appears to be the pound sign. So, step on it. But I love Asian food. I love Kobe beef. I know I look like a vegetarian, but I'm not. Kobe beef, if you're not familiar with that comes from cows that are fed beer and massaged with sake. And I heard that and I was like, I want to be Kobe beef. Where do I sign up for? Those are some happy cows. They have no idea they're on death row. They're like, it's alive! A little lower, honey. Why the hell this cow go for another beer? You Japanese love design. That sake bottle actually looks like a hatchet. Ow! It's just a drunk cow. And it's appealing, which means it's only a matter of time. You have to try this chicken. It was raised solely on Doritos. What kind? Cool Ranch. But really, Kobe beef shows you how decadent we've become, right? Now it's not enough that we live a life of luxury. Now we need to eat things that have lived a life of luxury. I understand this cow had a good life, but did it go to private school? I only eat cows who went to private school. It did. Do you have anything on your menu that owned a boat? Kobe beef, it's an interesting idea, right? It must have been a surprise for someone along the way. It's like, you like that steak? This is the best steak I've ever had in my life. I fed that cow some beers. You got the cow drunk? Yeah, and then I was massaging it. Why? Why were you massaging an animal you gave a lot of alcohol to? So you could enjoy it. So I could enjoy it? I'm not hungry anymore. I'm gonna go call Special Victims Unit. Let's see what Olivia Benson thinks of this. I got to do some international shows this year. I performed in Japan for the first time, which was amazing. I mean, I wasn't in Japan just for stand-up. I was also modeling. I wish that wasn't that funny. But Japan, the Japanese are just, they're better at being human. Can we admit that? They're more polite, they're better at design. The Japanese toilet, are you familiar with the Japanese toilet? The Japanese took the most disgusting experience of human existence and fixed it. The Japanese toilet washes you, dries you, does your taxes. And that is in a Tokyo airport bathroom. You leave a Japanese public restroom cleaner than when you walked in. You leave an American public restroom with PTSD. Your only thought is, how can I forget that experience? Is there alcohol nearby? The entire time I was in Japan, I felt overweight, probably because I am overweight. But generally, the Japanese are thin. I mean, there are people that are overweight in Japan, but not like in America. We're better at not being thin. Because if you get really fat in Japan, they make you sumo wrestle. They make their fat people fight each other to entertain the thin people. And the fat people in Japan go along with it. Well, why am I doing this? It's prestigious. Now you try and push that other fat ass out of the circle. Oh, we try not to giggle. But first, throw in this giant diaper and put your hair in a bun. It's very dignified. Japanese are quiet and polite. They're like the opposite of my children. I had my kids with me, and they were always making loud noises. Occasionally, I would catch a Japanese person looking at my poorly behaved kids, and then they would look at me, and I'd always say the same thing. We're Canadian. Of course, we're not Canadian, but that is what some Americans do when they travel internationally. They tell people they're Canadian, which I think is cowardly. That's why I always tell people I'm North Korean. Then I get the respect I deserve. But it's fun seeing the different cultures, the different reactions to things. You know, did a show in Japan. I know Koreans, you guys are good friends with Japan. Japan is interesting because they're very polite and they're very organized and efficient. But I feel like a lot of that Japanese culture is just constructed so that they don't have to really interact with white people. Like so much of their culture, it's like even like paying with a credit card. They're like, you know, put it in the tray. I don't want to accidentally touch your white skin. You know what? Just put it down there, you ape, or whatever you are. You know, getting a taxi in Japan, you know, we'll open the door, all right? You don't have to put your grimy barbarian hand on my car. Just, I'll open it, get in, try not to breathe, all right? Even the taxi drivers in Tokyo are wearing gloves. They're like, you never know when a Westerner is gonna reach over and wanna shake hands. You gotta be careful. Japanese, very efficient. Sometimes that efficiency in Japan goes away. Like it goes too far. You know, like the Japanese, not a lot of soup variety in Japan. The soup variety, you can either have miso soup or no soup. That's like, you want some miso soup? Do you have any other soup? We got a larger bowl of miso soup. That is just a commitment to miso soup. I love how it's delivered to the table. It's like covered with another bowl, like, you know, and it's like it's a big reveal. Like, you're not gonna believe what soup this is. It's the only soup we have, miso soup. Miso, curious why there's only one soup, you know? There's some unifying things that I've observed about all Asian countries I've been to. You know, like, for instance, any item is appropriate for breakfast in Asia. It's like, good morning. You know what's for breakfast? Anything you ate last night. You know? It's all on the table. What, rice, pancakes, popcorn, lollipops, whatever you want. It's all for breakfast. But that's, you know, it's fascinating. Still getting used to beans are a dessert item. Kind of new to that. Like, here's a bun, you can get a dessert bun. You can get one filled with chocolate or one with beans. Who's picking beans? It's like, did you run out of chocolate? You know, it's like, so this one's all chocolate, we're out of chocolate. I don't know, should we fill it with beans? Will people be angry? And of course, the beans are delicious.
Valentine's Day, the tradition is we give each other those big red hearts filled with the Gamble chocolate. Have you ever eaten any chocolate out of those big red hearts with any confidence? Well, this could either be really good or totally nasty. And I'm just pig enough to find out. I got the one filled with toothpaste. I'm gonna have to eat another 9 to get rid of that flavor. There's the big red hearts filled with the Gamble chocolate, or the tiny chalk heart-shaped antacids. I know I make you nauseous. Here's a Tums with Hug Me written on it. Maybe that'll help.
I have been to Victoria's Secret. I had a reason. You know, as a man, you need a reason to be in Victoria's Secret. You can't just be in there like, I'm looking around! See what you ladies are buying. I was getting my wife something for Valentine's Day. You have to reach a point in a relationship where you can get a woman something from Victoria's Secret. It's not like a first date thing, like, thanks for meeting me for dinner. I got you a bustier. Why don't you go in the baño and throw that on? Secretly, every guy wants to go in Victoria's Secret. We walk by in the mall, we're like, one day I'll have a reason. Because, we've seen the catalog. You don't have to search out the catalog. It just shows up in your mail. You're like, oh, what's this? Seems like there's some good articles in here. If I wasn't married, I could get rejected by all these women. And guys, we're just dumb enough. We see that Victoria's Secret store and we think, maybe that's where those models live. They're probably in there right now walking around in angel's wings. They're probably in there having a pillow fight right now. If I could find a practical reason to go in there, it would be amazing. And then you finally go into Victoria's Secret and it's like a Greyhound bus station. What are you guys in between shifts in here? Where's all the angels? There's just stressed out sales ladies with headsets on. Underwear. Where's the open bar? But you're still a guy in a woman's underwear store, and you don't want to look like a creep. That's why every man at Victoria's Secret has the same expression on his face of boring. This place is boring because I'm not a pervert. There's nothing stimulating in here because it's boring to me, especially those huge posters of supermodels mostly naked. I didn't know what I was looking for, so I went up to a sales lady who had the warmth of a TSA screener. What do you want? Nothing. I didn't touch anything. I'm leaving. Trying to be discreet. I was like, look, I'm looking for something for my wife. She's very intelligent. She's creative. Because you can't say I'm looking for a slutty outfit. She volunteers. She's organized. Maybe that French maid's outfit would be good. Then I was thrown because the sales lady was like, what size? And I was like, size? Female? Small? Because you don't want to guess too big. You don't want to be like, hey, you'll grow into it. I thought you was much bigger. You can't ask a stranger like, hey, excuse me there, lady. You look like you got a keister like my wife's. What size undies you got there? Maybe you could try on this outfit I got. I just wanted it over with. When I was paying, I assumed the awkwardness was over until they handed me my purchase in a bright pink Victoria's Secret bag that I had to carry around the mall the rest of the day. That might as well have just said pervert on the side. Me and my ladies' undies. I like ladies' undies so much I got a bag full of them. Heading into Burger King. Yeah, I'll have a Whopper with cheese and a small fries for the ladies' undies. When I got home, I realized you have to find the right time to give your gift from Victoria's Secret. You can't be like, hey, when you're done changing that diaper, I got another changey poo for you. It's a little gift from me to you that's really for me. Because if you're buying a woman something from Victoria's Secret, it's really a gift for you. It's like, here, I got me this. Thank you. I'm welcome. I'm never going back there again.
I know nothing about Saint Valentine. I assume he's the patron saint of overpriced greeting cards. That's an odd ritual, really. You know, we go out and we buy cards that already have things written in them. It's like, hey, that's something I'd say. Just add my name here at the bottom. There you go. You like what that other guy wrote in there? Took me 5 seconds to find it. Cost me $2. Greeting cards would make sense if there was something profound written in there, but it's always like, happy birthday. Couldn't think of that yourself? I'm not a slogan machine.
I would do anything for my wife, but I'm not a romantic person. I wish I was. There are moments when it's glaringly obvious. I get to travel so much doing stand-up. I did a show in Cologne, Germany, and before the show, I was walking over this bridge that went across the Rhine River, and as I walked across, I noticed there were hundreds of locks on this bridge, and each of the locks had 2 initials. And it was apparent that couples had put their lock there as a symbol of their relationship. And I looked at it and I thought, That's perfect. Nothing captures love like a rusty padlock dangling over filthy water. But it was visually spectacular, and it affected me. I'm almost embarrassed to admit this. I found myself spending the next hour just kind of looking for a hardware store in this town I had never been in. I spent an hour looking, and eventually I found a hardware store. I went in, and I bought a bolt cutter. And I went back, and I started snipping off the locks. And with each snip, I said, "It's over. Over. You're free." And people were giving me dirty looks. Now, what a grand romantic gesture, right? But you know the first guy who did that was a psycho. Like, his partner or girlfriend was not a willing participant. He was like, "You're probably wondering why I brought you to the middle of the bridge. In March, I'm gonna do something you'll never ever forget." She was like, "Oh my gosh, are you gonna jump?" "No, I want to put this lock here. I'll put it here as a symbol of our love. And soon others will do it. And the bridge will be covered with locks. But you'll know that the first lock was a symbol of our love." And the woman was like, "Is that my bike lock?" "Not anymore." I do hope everyone feels well. I did a show recently, and this guy in the front row became ill. They had to stop the show. They turned on the lights. Paramedics came in. He was fine, but you should know my comedy can cause illness. They brought the guy to the hospital. I don't know what he told the doctor. He's like, "Yeah, I was watching Jim Gaffigan do stand-up comedy, and I just started feeling nauseous." The doctor's like, "That's not unusual. By chance, was he doing jokes about bells?" "He had a couple bell jokes. No too many bell jokes. Anything else?" At one point, I saw this bright white light, but I think that was just Jim." "I'm gonna prescribe you some Taco Bell. I suggest you eat it on the toilet." It always goes back to diarrhea. The guy in the front row was fine. It'd be weird if I was like, "Yeah, he died." He was fine. Same show, half hour later, same show. Someone in the audience went into labor during the show. I assume it was a woman. The mother was fine, the baby was fine. So even if the guy in the front row had died, it would have been essentially a wash. You know? You win some, you lose some. I mean, that's comedy, right? Here's something cute. Because the baby was delivered at my show, they decided to call him Fat Ass. Which is not even true, but it still hurts my feelings. But what are the odds? What are the odds? 2 medical emergencies at the same show. And I think the weirdest coincidence, I made both stories up. Right? I'm kidding. The guy in the front row died. He's killed by the baby. Bum, 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 bum.